In today's video, I'll be feeding most of my reptiles. This excludes the snakes, and amphibians and inverts will be for another video. But you're not here to see me talk, so let's get to feeding. I'll be giving Pangea mixed with some banana. Most of my fruit-eating geckos live here, on the reptile rack. So we'll start at the top and we'll go by species. In this enclosure, I have a trio of gargoyles. A lot of people like to compare these guys to the crested geckos. However, I find these guys to be a lot more intuitive, more aggressive, more alert, and I can definitely say they have a stronger bite force. To speak on their more aggressive nature, these two here just the other day woke me up while breeding. I kept hearing some rustling in the enclosure and thought to myself, like, what the is going on? So I walk over, I flick on the lights, and I see this guy. His hemipenes are fully out. He's biting onto her neck. Her tail pops off, drops onto the floor, starts squirming around everywhere. So I run around. I'm trying to look for my water sprayer to kind of, get them to stop. By the time I come back, they're both just chilling, eating. Anyway, this is my other female. She's looking quite chunky right now. My guess is that she's currently holding some eggs. I had one successful clutch last season. This here is one of those babies. I like to add mealworms in the baby's food just to give them that little extra boost, and I think that he found one here. Last year we started pretty late in the breeding season, so I'm excited to see what kind of babies we're able to produce this year. This other one here is his sibling. I kept trying to record him eating his food, but every time I would come up with the camera, he would scurry away. You can, however, watch this guy grow his tail back on a series of shorts that I'll be compiling into a playlist on my channel. He's only on his second week out of months that it'll take him to grow back. Now, I know I was throwing some shade in the last segment, but the crested geckos are by far one of my favorite lizards. They started it all. They are the reason that I went from breeding fish to breeding reptiles. As some of you might remember, this used to be a trio. Nothing happened to the third gecko. I just didn't want to continue with the Dalmatian pattern. These here are some of the holdbacks from last season. As you can tell, I'm kind of working on more of a harlequin pinstripe with some tricolor in it. And in reality, I feel like the Dalmatian spots kind of ruin the aesthetic of the other patterns. It's all opinion, but I personally think it doesn't make it look quite as clean. Most people would agree with me, which is another big reason why I completely stopped breeding that gecko. This little baby here, I actually found just last week. It's not even breeding season, and here we are popping out babies anyway. So as a responsible breeder, you don't want to make things that you personally just think are cool, but things that you can actually find homes for as well. Check out this cool enclosure I made out of like a lemonade dispenser. Oops, spooked them. Speaking of crested gecko babies, I still do have a lot of them available. For example, this awesome harlequin, I have some empty backs, some pinstripes, all kinds of cool patterns, and from babies to juveniles. I am currently running a sale on any baby of your choosing with the bioactive tank for just $200. This only applies to crested geckos, but if you'd like to see some of the other babies that I have available, you can go on my Instagram page, and under the highlights I have various photos of each individual with top, front, and side pictures so you can get a good visual of what your baby will look like. Shipping is available anywhere in the United States, and in-person meetings are limited to the IE county. A few hours have gone by and other animals have come to enjoy the food. For example, this snail and springtail, or this isopod and pincher bug, which is a good time to kill pincher bugs. Alright, now let's move on to the animals that don't eat prepared diet. For these guys, we have some mealworms. Keep in mind that they eat various insects. This is just the one that they'll be having today, mixed together with some calcium and herptobite. I've been working on tongue feeding this baby here, although it's quite not there yet. We don't want to have a negative interaction, so we'll just leave some food by its cave. Now the adults, they can tongue feed all day if I had the time. They're really good about eating, and even my youngest kid can help feed these guys. I know, this enclosure sucks compared to all the other ones. I'm trying to figure out what plants will thrive in here. I keep trying different kinds of succulents and non-thorny cacti, but nothing seems to work aside from the aloe vera. It might be too low light, I'm not exactly sure what's going on. If you have any plant suggestions for an enclosure that's more of a desert biome, please let me know. Kind of getting tired of wasting money here. I was planning on breeding my Supermax Snow male to a beautiful bold stripe that I had. Unfortunately, she had a tragic death. You can watch a video on it on my channel. But anyway, I wasn't planning on breeding leopard geckos this year. However, the enclosure that I had the female in broke, so I had to put her back in with the male. And now if you see her down there, she's looking super chunky, so I'm pretty sure that she has some eggs. We might just do the breeding this year, see what we get out of it, and potentially stop it next year, depending if anything nice comes out of it. But we'll just leave the mealworms there because the bearded dragons are hungry. This is the only species that gets food every single day, and every single day it acts exactly like this, as if it's never eaten in its life. Some of you may be wondering, why is this bearded dragon isolated? And that's just because it's been growing a lot faster than all of its other siblings, and we wouldn't want to have any missing toes or nipped tails. You may also be wondering, what's up with all the veggies just on the floor? Aren't they going to get dirty and then cause the bearded dragons to get impaction? Well, actually, no. You see, under the fresh veggies is just old dried veggies, and under that is just fresh leaf litter. So they never consume any dirt. But what this does allow is for the insects in the enclosure to go eat at the veggies, and then the bearded dragons are enticed to go after the veggies, making it easier for you to get your bearded dragons to eat veggies. Alright, and that's the video for today. Thank you so much for reaching the end. If you think I deserve it, shoot me a like and subscribe. Please.